Hi guys, well today we're going to be taking a look at the ASUS GTX 950 Unplugged. Now 950 has been in circulation since August 2015, but this particular card has only just hit the shelves. So you might be asking the question, why, some 10 months later, has this card been introduced? Well, the idea behind this particular 950 is that it doesn't rely on any PCI Express power connection. The power delivery actually comes directly from the motherboard, courtesy of the PCI Express lane. So if you're perhaps maxing out on your power supply, you want to add in a new GPU, an entry-level GPU like this one, perhaps to an old system, and this is going to be the perfect candidate. As we're going to see in this video, the GTX 950 Unplugged tackles 1080p gaming, offering decent frame rates in some of the latest titles, and it does this while generating significantly less power compared to other 950s. Now this graphics card is going to cost you in the region of £120 in the UK, $160 if you're in the States. So this is an affordable card, which is really going to be helpful to those of you in a number of different situations. So let's begin and crack on with our video. Okay, so let's do a quick unboxing on our new card. So as you can see, with that nice graphic in the center there, we've got that theme which is World of Warships, because after all we do get that exclusive invite code which gives you the 15-day premium account. Of course, on the front also we've got the Windows 10 ready, and over on the sides there we've got some of the more details for the card, and we've got the serial code there if you need to get in touch with technical support. If you've got any difficulties, then that is where your serial code is. Over on the reverse we've got the fundamental features. So first of all, we've got obviously the styling on this particular card, with it being white and blue. It pairs up with the Z170 boards which ASUS has already released, so that is going to kind of go hand in hand. We've got Auto Extreme as well, which means that the construction of this particular card is fully automated, so absolute precision with the building of that. The GPU Tweak 2 comes with this as well, and XSplit Gamecaster. You get 3 months membership with that. We've got the specifications down at the bottom, we've got the ports, and then we've got the diagram of the card. And inside the box, first of all, we get the card itself in an anti-static bag with that foam padding just to protect it while it is in transit. Now usually you would get a PCI Express adapter in this slot here, but after all our card is unplugged, so we don't need that. And then we've got underneath here, we've got some documentation and CDs. So first of all, we've got the World of Warships coupon, so you can redeem that. We've got the driver CD that also contains the graphics driver, the GPU Tweak 2, and also Gamecaster. And then we've got the documentation just to get you up and running in next to no time. Okay, and here is the GTX 950 Unplugged. So since our card comes from the GTX 950 family, it is fairly small. Now the first thing that's immediately apparent is that we've got this cooler which uses a dual fan configuration, and we'll take a closer look at the finer details of that cooler, including the heatsink later on as we detach the cooler from the card. But from a visual standpoint, that white plastic shroud should look quite stylish inside most systems, more especially those with a white, black or blue theme. Now we mentioned that this card is small, and compared to this older generation GTX 760, which the 950 is actually quite similar to in performance, the ASUS card is quite a lot smaller. So we'll now just do a quick measurement, as many of you will undoubtedly be keen to confirm whether this card will fit inside your case. So for the length, Unplugged is around about 210mm. For the width, you're looking at just over 100mm, and then for the height, 38mm. Now Unplugged is very close to the reference GTX 950 specifications. There really is not a lot of difference. So for the base clock we have 1026, and that boosts up to 1190 MHz, and the memory clock operates at 6610, and these jump up to 1051 and 1228 respectively in OC mode, that is via the GPU Tweak 2. This card also arrives with 2GB of GDDR5, and so the idea with this card is, based on those specifications, is that it's going to be ideal if you are gaming on a 1080p display. Unplugged is also PCI Express 3.0 compliant and is DirectX 12 ready. Now Unplugged will occupy 2 spaces on your board and your case, so just make sure you've got enough room. And on the back panel here we have 3 major ports included. So we have one DVI-I giving you up to 3K, one DisplayPort 1.2 giving you 4K at 60Hz, and one HDMI 2.0 which also provides you with 4K at 60Hz. Now, although you can get up to 4K resolution, there is no way that the GTX 950 is going to be able to game at such high resolution, but just because it can't doesn't mean that you're not able to view other content in ultra high resolution such as photos and videos. Now, the major attraction to this card, as you've heard me say many times already, is that it is regarded as unplugged. So simply put, we have no PCI Express connectors on this card. There is no requirement for them. Instead, the card uses the small amount of power there given by the PCI Express lane. So what this means is that, if you've got an older system which lacks PCI Express power, or if you've got a low powered power supply and you're kind of hitting the max value, this unplugged version here of the GTX 950 is going to be perfect. But even if you do have sufficient power requirements from the power supply, this card is still going to offer you low power consumption compared to other options which are out there. And as with other NVIDIA cards, the Unplugged also comes with a single SLI port for pairing up with another card. Now, just flipping Unplugged over, on the reverse there is no backplate and there's very little to say really. However, we do have a brace which runs along the edge and that links to the rear I/O plate, and that's going to provide you with a bit of rigidity and prevent any flexing. Right guys, well, we've taken the cooler off our GTX 950 and here is the solution which ASUS are using. So essentially what we've got here is two cooling fans which use 11 blades, and these fans direct airflow onto that heatsink, which as you can see is rather large. So we don't have any heat pipes on this cooler, the heatsink simply sits onto that GPU, and as we'll see later, this solution gives us really good results. Now, having that cooler detached also means that we can take a look at the PCB, and what's great about our Unplugged is that even though this is a GTX 950, it still benefits from Super Alloy Power 2 components with a 4-phase digital power design. So the caps, the chirps, the MOSFETs are more efficient, they offer better reliability and are less noisy compared to the reference 950. And the other thing to note is that our card also benefits from Auto Extreme, so the construction is entirely automated, which means that everything is designed with absolute precision. So at the heart of 950 is of course the GM206 with its 28nm process and the Maxwell architecture. So this chip is really designed for 1080p gaming. And next we're going to do some quick benchmarks with Unplugged to give you guys a bit of an idea of what kind of performance you can expect. So for the games, we're going to be testing out Dirt Rally, Tomb Raider, Star Wars Battlefront and The Witcher 3. And for each of these games we're going to stick with 1080p, as this is really the intended arena for the 950. And then the full review over on Vortez.net, we're going to have a look at different detailed presets. And while we do check out these games, we're also going to have GPU-Z running in the background to pick up on that maximum GPU temperature. So let's begin. Okay, and while we're in game, we're just going to get the microphone as close to those cooling fans as possible, just to give you guys a bit of an idea of the noise levels. So as you can tell, they're whisper quiet. Okay, and just having a look at GPU-Z, there you can see the max temperature for the GPU, which kind of hit 69, as you can see there. 6869, which actually isn't too bad when you consider this is a fairly small type of cooler. It doesn't have the heat pipes. Right guys, well there you have it. That is the GTX 950 Unplugged. Now the real value with this card is of course the fact that it runs off that PCI Express lane, as opposed to needing that 6-pin power from the power supply. That is of course going to serve a number of people in different ways. It might be that you've got an old system. You may have a nondescript, no-frills type of power supply. You simply want to bolster the graphics delivery. So this card is going to be ideal for that application. And then there's different situations, different scenarios that you might be in, such as you might want to add in a graphics card, but by doing so you might need a new power supply because kind of hitting those peak values. So this card is going to be again ideal in that situation, saving you having to go out there and grab yourself a new power supply. And so far as performance goes, this card is going to offer you great results if your intention really is to play those games at 1080p. And the noise, the cooling solution, as we've seen, it comes without any hitches at all. And whatever sort of angle you kind of look at this card, it is a win situation. The only thing that we might say is that the physical design might not be to everyone's liking. But let me know what you guys think. Is this a stylish kind of graphics card, or is it downright nasty? Let me know in the comments box below. Now guys, if you're after a bit more performance in terms of different games, a few more details, please head over to the full review, which is going to be on the screen and in the description very soon. So that is it from me today guys. Hope you did enjoy today's video. Thanks for taking time out to watch. Please smash that like button if you did enjoy it. Please be sure also to hit us up on the social media links. Take care of yourself and I'll see you guys next week.